Houston Rockets fans, we have an all-star. It is congratulations, Alperen Sengun.
We got it.
Second place in the West. Somebody had to make it. I
Yeah.
mean,
I kind of say that, like at first, the first conversation we had was like, if you want, I wondered if there was any resentment from Jalen towards Sengun. But
yeah,
then the next thing I thought was like, I ain't even going to hate on Sengun for getting in because I count this as an all star nod to the whole team.
yeah,
Because, like you just said, somebody has to go because we're number two. So, like, it would fit appropriately in the West for him to go, considering Jalen would have to go up against all the other good guards in the West. So I was like, you know what, Sengun, go represent the team. It's a nod to the whole team, in my opinion, the coaching staff and everything. I like it.
yeah. I mean, you get a Min and Reed Shepard in the Friday game of the sophomores and rookies thing. Um, and then you get Shingun All Star Week. Somebody finally makes it. Long time coming since what? James Harden, I think.
Yeah, it's
He's
hard.
the first. He's the youngest center since Yao Ming on our team to make it. So
I just ask not to embarrass us. You don't have to go be flashy. Like, don't be a hero and get dunked on. Like,
yeah,
don't try to guard anybody on the perimeter now and get crossed over. Just go try to pass something, throw an alley or some shit and get out. Don't
yeah,
embarrass us.
and stay healthy. Like a part of it is good for us. I mean, you get a lot of guys that get rest. Um, a part for me is like, okay, Jalen Green. I know Ime talked about it. I think he's played 150 straight games. And he was like, dude, that just shows how dedicated he is. So it's like, hey, get some rest, bro. Spend time with your girl, spend time with your kid, like enjoy All Star Weekend. Like you said, it's a nod for the whole team. I mean,
To me, it is.
Shaq, Kenny, the fact that Shaq, Kenny, Chuck, and Ernie all were like, he was one of the snub guys. I was like, okay, at least your name was brought up in it. And we know
Yes.
how the West is. I mean, the West is the Wild West. There's people that definitely got snubbed that should have been on there, and it's a guard ran league. It's I mean, you look at the names that
Man,
were left off: Jalen, Devin Booker, John Morant. Like, there's some big names, and then there's some dudes that
mhm.
balled and didn't make it. So
Yeah, but like you said, we deserved it, man. We've been wrecking the whole league. So somebody had to get the love, and we need big men in the West anyway. AD got hurt. Somebody just go. But like all star shit aside, like that tag means something now, in my opinion. As a Rockets fan, it's like, all right, like I have to listen to Sengun fans talk shit that he's an all star now, right? I'll eat crow. He's our player. We got it. But now you got to play like an all star because you haven't been. Actually,
no,
since Amin's been on the ascension, you've been on the decline. The rest of the team fell in suit. So, like, bro, you can't be doing dumb shit.
there was a lot of Shingun fans on Twitter that were complaining about that Ime Udoka doesn't like Shingun, that he's benching him because he doesn't like him. I was like, no, he's benching him because he's playing bad. And as
Yes.
I hate this, oh, Jalen Green, Shingun fans split thing. It's like, no, we're Rockets fans. But
Mm-hmm.
if we can keep Jalen Green and be critical of how he's playing, we can do the same thing to Shingun like adults and admit,
Mm-hmm.
like, dude, you've been playing bad. And it's, you have to learn how to play with who is probably the best player on the team, arguably, which is Amdn Thompson. And people are finding out, ooh, I can play this way with him in. He makes me better doing this way. So now, Shingun, you have to figure out how to go with the team and not do your own
Mm-hmm.
thing this way and all that stuff. And that's why I said, like, from the beginning of the season, Sengun was balling. Like, he was like balling, he was doing his thing. Then Amin started to do, like you said, Jabari went out and Amin just was like, nah, I'm going, dog. Like, I'm taking the ball and running with it.
Ever since a man's been in the starting lineup, Fred Van Vliet has been better. He's been shooting the 3 point better. He's been getting wide open shots. Dylan Brooke has been scoring the ball easier. The most underrated player on the team lately has been Steven Adams. Because people don't realize, like, he gets them fools open. Amin, Jalen, Fred. Like, if you're willing to go to the basket, he could get you there. He's like a fullback playing basketball.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
And I mean, if Sengun's in the game, Steven's not in the game. So that's why Sengun's been on the bench and Adams been getting run because he's helping them other dudes play. And them other dudes is like, all right, you want to run Sengun, we'll follow you. And they're just playing well together, minus Sengun. But I ain't gonna lie, he's got the numbers that support All Star. So
Yeah.
I mean,
And
you gotta live up to it. That's all I'm saying.
yeah. And I think like for me it's like there's gonna be games where matchups matter. Like there's games like we all know if you're a Rockets fan that's really been watching, when we play Golden State, I do not expect Jalen Green to have a phenomenal game. It's just one of those teams where he just doesn't. And there's games where I know Sengun might get body. I mean, that Detroit game, they gave him the business. They were all over him, rebounding. I think we were a minus 17 rebounds and
Yeah, it was something crazy. Like it was bad.
and so I was like, okay, there's certain teams where it's just like, oh, they got your number, bro. Like, and there's certain players that have players' numbers. I mean, it happens, but it's one of those things where it's like now the bar is set even higher for you to where you're like you said, you're an all-star. You have that patch now. So you have to be the guy that leads, but also leading is not just I'm gonna go and get the ball and score. Leading is also like, hey, I'm gonna take a step back because this dude's on fire or this dude's doing his thing. Which we saw in the Boston game, Jalen didn't get the last shot. Sengun didn't get the last shot. Amdn Thompson got the last shot. And Dylan Brooks and them were fired up because they were like, yeah, that's the guy. Like that was the guy. And
Yeah, but even with the Cleveland game, like you don't have to be on the ball, Sengun. You could play off the ball and get a bucket. Like look at Cleveland at the very last play he drew up on back cut. Fred threw the most beautiful pass in the world. You go wide open layup. You know what I mean?
yeah,
So sometimes just don't stop. If you don't have the ball, you could keep moving to an open space. It helps the team because it gives us a passing outlet. He reminds me of like when Melo was with the Knicks. It's like you stop the ball and it fucks everything up. I don't care if you can go get a shot or not. You messed it up for everybody else. And Amen makes him stop that.
yeah. Amdn like, no, we're not doing
No,
this.
no, no.
We're
Yeah,
gonna
we're not
go.
doing that.
And it's if you have not watched recent Rockets games, Amdn the flow with Amdn when you see dudes moving around and it's basketball. I'm like, this is what we've been needing because that stuff in the beginning of the season, even though we were winning, I think the first national game we had it like Charles Barkley and all them were like they're just out there playing basketball. Like it's nothing impressive. It's just now
Man,
you
I've been
see them.
watching the Rockets, and I was pretty dead set that we weren't going to make a trade, but something tells me we might. And I have an itchy suspicion I know who the player is going to be that's got to go. It's going to be Cam Whitmore. I think Cam Whitmore and some picks yield you a player. I don't think it's going to be a superstar player, but if we make a trade, that's the player I think that they're willing to part with.
I mean, you look at
He's as good as a pick because you got him in the first round. He's got experience, sort of.
you got the
I'm not
upside.
saying I want to. I love Cam, but like
Yeah.
I don't know. I've been watching the games lately, like really, really aggressively, even in between timeouts and watching people do shit. And for some reason, he may likes him some Aaron Holiday.
Yeah. Dude's a baller. If you do what he asks you to do, defense, 3-pointers, player position, you're gonna get time. Jay Tate proved it. Aaron
Mm-hmm.
Holiday proved it. And
Mm-hmm.
it's tough because when you're a number 2 seed, you're going into thinking of playoffs. Like, how can I do these?
So the way I think about it is Ime. I'll try to look at it from Ime's lens as a coach, right? And it's like you might get into some shit with, especially with the men playing the four. You might get yourself in some wonky situations where you're gonna have to like maybe put Dylan Brooks at the two. You know what I'm saying? And then you'll have Holiday with the men and Jalen and Fred, and they'll run some stupid small lineup.
Yeah.
And the point of that is like everybody's gonna be able to switch. I don't think Ime trusts Cam's defense.
Yeah. I can see that. I mean, being those like the players that are offensively gifted. I mean, Reed Shepard, he's a rookie, but he has some flashes of defense. But like
Oh, he's
Jock,
gonna be a good.
yeah,
He's really he knows defense. Like
yeah.
I don't worry about Reed.
No, but I'm just saying like there's reasons why like he's not getting playing time. Jock
Oh
Landale's
yeah,
not getting playing time. Ken Whitmore's not getting playing time. Like other guys defense is showing up more, and that's one thing Ime puts a magnifying glass on. He said it all year. He's like, I don't care what you can do offensively. Can you do defensively for me to help this team? And he goes, that's why when Jalen goes, we saw it in the last game. He was like, Sengun, Jalen, get out. I'm putting other
Yep.
defenders in, and it was
So
like
did,
Jalen
but
and them were like, all right,
it's so cool to me that if you really pay attention or like be aware of what's going on, Ime's standard of defense is so like I don't want to say high, but like up there that Jeff Green was starting. He didn't like it, so he played Tate, and now Tate's out there like the damn Tasmanian devil. So it's like I'm gonna find somebody to give me the energy. You know what I mean?
yeah,
And he may don't give a shit what it says on the back of your jersey. He's like, "Are you doing what I asked you to?" Like you said,
yeah.
and it just requires effort.
And I mean, this roster is about somebody's playing time is going to get some hurt because when Jabari comes back, that's one of his defenders too. So he's going to find ways
That's
to
why I
use.
say you're gonna have to find like Holiday might have to drop off, and Dylan Brooks might have to play some too, or it's strictly gonna be one of those, hey, whoever's rolling in the first half gets run in the second half kind of thing, you know?
Yeah. And I will say, like, luckily for us, like, I feel like with the ascension, those games where you had like Shingun balling, but Jalen struggling, or Jalen balling and Shingun struggling. Now there's another guy that's like, no, 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 I'll pick it up a bit. Either getting somebody else good, like Dylan Brooks hitting 10 threes, or he's like, nah, I got you. I'll put 33 points up on these boys. Like,
Hey, but even, this doesn't sound ridiculous because I know we've said trade this fool or like well, nobody really gives a shit about him. But one player that might actually be the only one to have free reign right now is Fred.
yeah,
Because there's been game like no seriously
no,
because
I
he
know.
shot the ball super good, right? But there's been too many games recently where we've got these giant fucking leads and then we let the team come back, and then now you're in the last minute when you were just up by 14 and Fred's like, hold on, I got it, and he'll slow the ball down, he'll put people in their place. It's what we've been asking for the whole time, and he finally started to do it. And it's like, all right, bro, like you're seeing what we've seen the whole time, so go do it. And so like I
Yeah,
think that he's letting Fred just do what the hell he wants as far as like playing off of a man or playing off of Sengun. Because you don't see that bullshit 5-1 or 1-5 pick and roll from the top of the key with Sengun no more. Like that
no,
they threw that page smooth the fuck out this playbook.
no, that ain't working. Yeah, there's certain things I'm so glad they fixed. I mean, we said it last time. The closing of games is going to be crucial as you go closer to the playoffs and you start in the playoffs when you're playing those crucial games of those guys know you, you know them by game 3 now, and you're up 19, you give up a whole lead. Like, you can't do that. And
I'll say this one more time, one more thing for Fred, because I don't think I never heard anybody give him the credit for this. The dude got a funky fucking attitude. Like he fits our culture of what we are. You know what I'm saying? Because like you just be sitting there watching the game or whatever, and the bullshit happens, right? And you know it's much ado about nothing. And then you just hear Fred like, "Why you being a bitch?" And I'm like, "Whoa,
yeah,
bro! Like that was not warranted. Like, what are
yeah,
you doing?"
yeah. They're all a little. Man, I don't know if it was when Ime went at LeBron and they were like, "Oh shit, I got your back, coach," or what it was. But they from him to his coaching staff to the
I
players, they
mean,
just
Dylan Brooks grabbed Trey Young by the back of the head like he was a child.
yeah. He got fined like 20,000 for profanity or something. And he was like, "Yeah,"
Yeah,
like
fuck it.
it's hilarious. Like, and the thing is, like, we see it, and I think other fan bases see it, and it's like this Rockets team is really pissing fan bases off.
Good.
Like Memphis, one of the Memphis players, he was just like, he goes, they have our number right now. They've beaten us 3 times this year. He goes, we are coming in and trying to beat them and this and that. And I was like, good. That's when you know, like, oh, you made like they're like, nah, this date.
I stand pat on my statements all year though. Like nobody is greater than the sum of all because we're fucking teams up with depth. Like Memphis, for instance, like you're top heavy talented. You get past the third or fourth guy, y'all, and we ain't letting y'all roll. Y'all don't know what to do. And we just keep throwing legs in there. You've seen 13 people tonight. You know what I'm saying? We're bound to find 5 of them doing their job. You know what I mean? I'm telling you, our strength is our numbers. That's why I'm hesitant to trade anybody.
And
You're
that's what
not
I
lacking in any position.
like we've done our trade videos. Like De'Aaron Fox, that's pretty much that page is out the fucking door. Robert Williams, I really don't care for it. Like I'm
Neutral.
like for me, it's like okay, Steven Adams. I know what he gives me. If I need shooting, Jock Landale is going to give me that over there. Like I mean, you're a third option on it behind
But
that.
that's
I'm not.
amazing to me because the whole ruckus was like, oh, Houston needs to get another shooter. And it's like, I'll never say no to another shooter.
Yeah.
But also,
Ooh,
I don't need another shooter because with a man in the game, Dylan Brooks and Fred Van Vliet and Cam Whitmore and Jalen, well, not Jalen Summer, but they're all shooting the three pretty good. You know what I mean?
yeah.
So, we figured it out. And
And
I'm
we
not saying
you
Jalen's shooting bad. I'm saying
yes
at this point, you have to accept Jalen is streaky.
yes
It's your responsibility as his teammates and coach to pull the ball from him before he shoots you out of the game.
yes,
But
and the
also,
men are
don't
doing it.
fucking complain about Jalen doing Jalen shit when the team is down and out and don't know what to do, and y'all just give him the ball and move out of the way and expect him to bail you out. Because I could pull 1,000 fucking clips from this season where we've done it, where the entire team just stands out of the way and like, please go get a shot because we can't get our shit together. That's a thing, people.
And that's the thing I hate is where it's like we used to crucify James Harden for doing that and having games, but now that Jalen does it, they're like, "Oh, we should get James Harden." It's the same shit. It's the when you see him come this way and they're all and it's wide open. They're like one on one, bro. You got it. I believe in you. It, it's
Here's I'm gonna tell people I'm gonna give you one reason to not give up hope on Jalen Green if y'all completely gave up on him yet. At some point, Jalen Green is gonna get the benefit of a whistle. Like he's gonna be at the status where he's gonna get the Jalen Green misses a lot of shit at the rim, but it's because he's getting no calls. Like even if he gets a foul on half the shit he misses there, you're talking about another 6 to 8 points.
let him get those John
So you're
Morant
talking
calls.
about like a 27, 29 point a game player. And you want to fucking
Let
get
him
rid
get
of that? No, thank you.
those SGA calls. It's like
Exactly. Let him get those jaw calls, them Luca
yeah.
calls. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna happen. You just watch.
I said I like the team, the big three. They're doing their own things now. If that thing comes together in the perfect form of where they're all rolling, good fucking luck to whoever team's playing them because that's gonna be dirty as shit. So,
Very much so.
but I think for sure it's gonna be beautiful to see a playoff podium press conference with Amdn, Sengun, and Jalen right there for the first time. Be like, yes,
I feel like at this point, considering we're number 2 in the West, you have a player going to the All Star game. You have players that you're excited to build around, and you're fucking pissing the league off. I will no longer question Ime Udoka. He gets D'Amico Ryan status right now.
right there.
Yes, you're you're
And
you're at the head of the table with him. You know what I'm saying? Like,
we,
all right, I trust you. In Ime, I trust.
yeah. It's like we talked about it with the Texans. You built a culture here. You see the
Mm-hmm.
Rockets culture. The same way you know what like as the joke aside, like Texans football, like Texans defensive football, I know what Rockets defensive basketball is. Like I know like, oh, that's an Ime guy. Oh, that's not an Ime guy. Like
Yeah, that's how
you
Ime
and
got.
like and it kind of makes sense like when you watch both of them, like you're like, oh yeah, he'd fit perfectly with these guys. And then it's like, nah,
U of H is the same way. It's like it's just a gritty, grimy ass way of doing things, and
yeah,
maybe
Astros.
Espada's not the guy for us.
Astros, we need some stuff, man. Y'all need to pick it up because the teams are leaving you, bro. I need y'all to come up and show out. Y'all
Yeah,
carried
that
the
would be
mantle
helpful.
for a bit, but let's bring it up. All right. Any last words?
Nah, I mean, I don't know how a congratulatory video for Alperen Sengun going to the All Star game turned into a bashing of him and a praising for everybody else, but good job. I mean, he did his thing. He earned it, I guess.
I mean, he deserved it, but Anybody that wants to argue in the comments, I mean, look at his recent games. I mean, he has had a few good ones, but there's been some bad ones, and it's just
I'm not gonna hate on my own player for making all. You know what I'm
no, I'm
saying?
not.
Like,
I'm happy you made it. Somebody had to make it. Shit.
yeah,
I was like,
for
somebody
real.
definitely had to make it. You're second in the damn West, like, and the way he played in the first half, yeah, I could see it and everything.
I would really love to see him go ball hog the ball away from Victor. Like, just
That'd be
don't
great.
give Victor any shots.
Yeah, yeah. Forget y'all. Forget San Antonio. All right, Houston.
I'll say
I'll
this
go.
though: if somebody does get hurt in the West, though, Jalen Green's name should be at pretty much at the top of that list.
Anthony Davis, he's out. He has a abdominal injury or something. So we'll
Period
see.
cramps.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. Come on, Jalen. All right. All love, Houston. We're out of here. Later.